Yes.
Is that working out?
There you go, man.
I
Yeah.
don't. You just what you thought. You know what? It's the last podcast of the year. I'm gonna make him Becker. I'm gonna make him do some editing. Well, I ain't editing shit. This is all staying in.
Right.
I'm doing no work.
Well, that was what. You heard the podcast, and we did that 3-hour extravaganza or whatever it was, and Jake and Vanell were both, kind of saying, well, you can chop it up. No, I'm going to do like Stuart. I'm going to get one of those little bracelets that says, "What would Stuart do?" He would post it.
He would do nothing. He would just upload that sucker. So you did one the other week. When is that going up?
Oh my gosh, man. Long story short, I had created this, because you remember we used to have the logo on the TV behind us, right?
Yeah.
Well, I took it to the next level, and I took footage and created this thing that, played for about 30 minutes. There was some repetition, but if you were paying more attention to me and Jake, you wouldn't have noticed. And so Jake was like, man, well, we've got to be able to stream. And I was thinking that, was it Periscope would work? It didn't. We tried Stream with the Dot, and it couldn't remember us. And so it was one thing after another. And so Jake was like, hey, well, let's just do the Twitter whatever, where it's just audio. And so then Eric got on there, and I don't know what was coming out of Jake's phone, but anytime Eric was going to say something, he would put it near the microphone, and there'd be this.
Oh, no.
So pretty much the whole thing, I was going to try to edit out every, thing that sounded bad, or, like leaving some stuff that was like, it's passable, you can still hear. But there was maybe a third left, and it was taking up too much time. So that will sadly never be heard. So
you're not a proper podcaster until you've just had to ditch an entire episode that nobody will ever hear.
Right.
I've probably had maybe 4 or 5 of those in my 700 and something. And I think one of them was actually an interview with somebody. It just didn't record. This is back when you used to have this little third-party piece of software that used to record Skype, and sometimes I would just go, do you know what? I'm having a day off. I'm not going to work. But I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to work. I'm going to pretend I am. But then when you go to play it back, nothing there, and it did that. And with an interview, you can't do anything. You can't go, can we just have that entire conversation again, please? Because you can't. It's impossible. So, yeah.
And by the way, make it sound like we've never had this interview, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And it just doesn't work. So you just go, thanks for interviewing. And,
really, that happened to Jake and I with, I think the movie was Crawl. And they were in the process of doing fundraising for Crawl 2. And super nice. I can't remember what their connection was. I know they were romantically linked, but it may not have been his wife. It may have been his significant other. But anyway, my whole point is super nice. We had such a fun 2-hour conversation, and it was like talking to Neil in that we talked story, but then we started talking gear, and it just seemed like the perfect episode until it was like, what in the hell just happened to the audio? So, and then there was one time, and only one time, and I did figure out what happened, but I was working with a client. Sometimes when I'm doing voiceover, they'll want to direct me, which I'm fine with. I appreciate that because that saves me time in the long run.
Faster, slower, faster, more intense.
Exactly.
More intense, less intense, too intense.
Exactly.
Yeah. I could be a director.
You could, man. In fact, I think you are. But anyway,
maybe.
So anyway, we get to the end of this 30-minute session. It was kind of lengthy. And I put the card into my computer to edit it, right? Because I always sweeten it a little bit and cut out my breaths and stuff. Boom, it's not there. And I was so then I'm trying to figure out, because I go through the voice realm to get my clients, right? So that's the connection. But I'm like, I need to talk to these people now. So I was trying to Sherlock it to find out where they were, how to get up with them. I talked to an assistant, which then put me in contact with the director, who then we had an instant session again. But man, that was completely unnerving, because at least, and I'm not saying that podcasts aren't awesome, because they are, because it brightens a lot of people's day. But for me to have lost that payday on that job, that would have sucked. So
I mean, this is fun and it's great, but this is neither of us. This is our job.
Right. We just have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And if a conversation like this gets lost, that sucks. But if it was an actual paying gig for one of us or the other, it's like, oh no, because that knocks into your professional life then, and that's
really does.
never good.
You may not want to use that John guy. He sucks. You know, it only takes one, right?
It does, exactly. And then next thing you know, you're a hashtag. So how's
a meme, right?
Oh God, don't no. Thankfully, I've never been a meme. I'm not important enough to be a meme. Maybe in 2024 I'll aim to be a meme, but not yet.
Put that on your list, man.
I will. I do. I have a few things which I'm going to try and do next year and whatnot, and we'll see if I succeed. Who knows?
Well, you know that Neil and I will both be rooting for you. I guess you say that over in England, don't you?
Yes,
we're pulling for you. We're rooting for you. Sometimes it's lost in translation. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I think
we got your back.
I think rooted for you is better, because if you say you're pulling for me, that could be a bit like, well, I get that you enjoy these podcasts, John, but please don't. Right. Don't enjoy them that much, please. Right. And if you do, I don't need to know.
And that's the meme coming out in 2024.
That's me doing this. Yeah, pretty much.
And it's a gift, man. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It's the gift that keeps coming or giving, one of the two. I don't know which. So
it's definitely the bad version of the giving tree. So yeah.
We have got our end of year. This is actually my last podcast of the year as well. I just finished one 10 minutes ago with Stu Miller.
Really?
And I didn't tell him any of my favorite films, because it's like, this is my last one. This is where I go through my favorite things of the year. So he doesn't know. So, that's
not
fine.
Yet, right?
Not yet. So I'm going to fire a bunch of categories at you. And if you've got things that need to be on that list, fire them out. And then I will go. You've got yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
I'm old school. I'm sheets of paper. Screw the environment. I'm printing my shit out.
But if my iPad runs out of battery, then you're going to continue on. So.
Yep, exactly.
Which is one of the reasons. Well, I have an incontinent dog because he's like a super senior. I think in human years he'd probably be 130. I don't know. So sometimes he makes a mess. So I was cleaning that up, and then I looked at the battery on my phone and said, "Wow, man, I've got to plug in power." And of course, we've already occupied most outlets in the room, so I had to get an extension cord. So anyway, man. So yes, but going back to paper, man.
Physical media, long live physical media. Sheets of paper and a pen.
That's right, man.
Bring on the apocalypse. I don't need no stinky internet.
Exactly.
So this is an easy one for you, John. So what is your personal highlight of this year?
I actually made 3 notes, and number one, and this will sound cheesy, but I don't care. I have fallen deeper in love with my wife of almost 10 years in 2023. Every year I fall deeper in love with this amazing woman. Who you think that love has like a ceiling, like, when you and I are working a job that we don't like, and then we're like, I'd like a raise. Never gonna happen. Boom, but love is a completely different thing. And so that made it to the top of my list. Can I do a shameless plug?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay,
always.
So
yeah.
So voiceover wise, I am the voice for Delta Faucet, which I don't know if you guys have Delta faucets over there in the UK or not. But anyway, but they have very high-end like steam showers and all this stuff. So I am their official voice until they get tired of me. So that's nice. And supposedly they enjoy my voice to the point where they would buy me reading the telephone directory, which plenty of our viewers or listeners don't even know is a thing, right? What's a telephone directory? But anyway, Nationwide Insurance, Subaru, METV, Truist Bank, Templeton Rye, O'Charlie's, Keebler, and then I was also the voice for Groot in some sort of Learning with Groot educational game, because they didn't have the Vin Diesel budget. But so when I saw Guardians 3 and I heard Groot, I was like, damn, there's like this kindred spirit now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, yeah, I'm the poor man's Groot, but still, man. So it's been a good year voiceover wise
That is a
too, man.
really good. And for those who don't know what a telephone directory is, tune in the next episode because John's going to read it out for you.
That's right.
The American one, which is even longer than the UK one. We've only got 70 million names over here. I'm pretty sure America's got more. So that'll be next episode.
We subdivide those books up though, so we can't beat them like use them in torture like Jack Bauer used to.
No,
because I think that was one of his things. You could hit someone with a big telephone directory and it wouldn't leave a mark.
Yeah, I know Sipowicz used to do it in NYPD Blue back when the phone directory was huge.
Yeah,
I think nowadays a phone directory would be like little sheet, like 10 sheets of paper, because who the hell has landlines anymore? That is an amazing list of highlights, though.
Man. So what about you, dude?
Mine's really piss poor by comparison. I quit my 6-year customer service job and thought I can't do this anymore. I'm out. So,
right.
That's my thing. There is something that I'm going to try and work on for next year, which I'm not going to mention on the podcast yet, but I'll send you a private message at some point going,
okay,
here's my plan for 2024. And we'll see if it works. But yeah, my highlight's just like, can't do this anymore. I'm off. So you win the highlight of the year. As far as
I don't know, man. You know what? Okay. Happiness is something that we have both gotten from 2023, or at least we're ending with it. And so that's good, man. That's equal, dude. Yeah.
Happiness and an empty bank account, which is always that's my bank account's gone. See you later. Maybe you need to get one of these job things at some point. I'm like, yeah, maybe I do. So that's one of my New Year plans. We did do we want to create, not work. We did that episode quite a few weeks ago. So
incredibly relevant. So.
Very, very much relevant. Yeah. What do I go for next? What is your favorite streaming platform this year? Mine is Apple. I haven't watched tons of it, but everything I've seen on that has been amazing. I'm currently watching Monarch. I've seen the first 3 episodes, which is very good.
Is it not great?
It's really just not. The thing is, the first 2 episodes, there's not a lot of monsters in it, but I didn't care. I'm still into it. I'm still really into this show, so I'm enjoying Monarch. We've had Ted Lasso. We've had Shrinking.
Yeah. Yep.
So Apple for me. What about yourself?
Let's see here. I kind of on my list. Every show, I just gave one vote for one of the streaming platforms. So Apple and Prime have tied as far as shows that I've enjoyed. And then Paramount is at 2, but I mean, like, it is what it is, man.
I have fondness for Paramount. I always have done. I don't know why. Not like up there with the majors, but the stuff that I like on there, I really like.
Yep. Well, dude, and I mean, like, we are old school, so we still remember the way the opening logo used to come on for a movie.
Oh yeah,
the star dipping into the water and then surrounding the mountain and stuff. Yeah, man. Yep. So and but anyway, we'll talk about those shows. But I mean, Hulu was 2 and Disney was 2. So I'm really kind of looking at, and I mean, where is Max on my list? I just realized that, man. If I'm paying for it and I'm not enjoying it, I shouldn't be paying for it.
Get rich. I am down to 1 streamer now. I'm currently using a free trial of Apple till February, so that's great because you get 3 months free through a Roku box. If you sign up through Roku, you get 3 months for nothing, which was great. So I've signed up for that.
Yeah.
I'm just about to expire on my free trial of Disney Plus. Yeah. And the only one I'm paying for now is BritBox.
Yeah.
So it's
Prime has that, like where they do the big splash screen. It's like, this is playing on Showtime. This is playing, and they advertise for BritBox as well. So. Yep. Yeah.
Good stuff.
I know. It probably excellent stuff. I've always liked content made in the BBC and just good quality content, man. Good storytelling, and then all the actors tend to look more like people that I'd be friends with versus like the American, like Barbie. I mean, like they were appropriately perfect, but yet that's the way too many shows come out in America. It's like, and I don't know any of these people. I didn't go to school with them. I don't work with them, so. I can't relate. Yeah.
And we've talked about it before with regards to the British shows. It's like 4 episodes. done.
Right.
Everyone,
right.
all of them, great.
Yeah.
3 episodes, done. And they're so easy. You could go through those like in a day or at least a weekend, and it's great. Rather than how many episodes of Gotham? 22 per season.
And that is quite old school, man. That's almost like Jack Bauer again. 24 episodes.
And I missed 24. That do.
Yeah.
I've rewatched that so many times. That show. Really good. Yeah. So yes.
I was gonna say, go ahead.
No, you carry on.
This is where you and I need to be in the same room eventually. One of these years.
Oh God,
we need to. Yeah. I was gonna give a shout out to, because I do props. I post them on all the social media, which we should also declare which social media we're enjoying the most nowadays. Eventually, but anyway, so there's one from the United States called Blaster Pro. You can find them through Etsy, and that's where I've gotten all the Star Wars blasters that I've created. They sell them assembled, they sell them in pieces, but these guys love Star Wars as much as me. I think they're about our age, and so they grew up with Star Wars, and they want people to be able to buy these blasters at a reasonable price so that you can have this. I mean, like, it's from, I don't know where their molds come from, but pretty much this is the DL-44 that Han Solo had in A New Hope, or it's the Greedo killer from A New Hope or whatever. Same thing with Stormtrooper blasters and stuff. And then there is a group, I'm assuming husband and wife, again, I don't know, Tip Top Workshop, which is over in England. Okay. And man, so the ones that I'm working on now, it's Kay's blaster from Blade Runner 2049 and Love's blaster. And I've ordered Deckard's gun, even though I already have multiple copies of it. They care about the quality of what they send out. And it's cool getting stuff from around the world, I think. Like, hey, this blaster comes,
How does that work, though? Because I can imagine customs people getting a little bit twitchy if they're scanning something and it's like a handgun or something.
It's plastic and it's in pieces. But really the only surprise was, like, Love's gun was 50 pounds. And I'm like, 50 pounds, man, that's nothing. I'm ordering it now. And that's not exactly an even trade on, pounds to dollars. So it seems like the whole world is doing much better than the United States currency. I'm just saying. So.
Yeah, our prices are doing a lot better because they're going up and up and up and up. All our food prices and stuff have jumped like 30% since in the past 2 years. So that's ridiculous. It's
it sucks. But then you talk to the economists who say, oh, no, but that's the symptoms of a healthy economy, man. We're rebounding. No, if I can't afford it, no.
It's not healthy at all when you're like, I'll buy a hot water bottle and sit with it under a blanket rather than put the heating on. That kind of sucks. And that's where a lot of us are in the UK. Yeah. So one thing I had to do this year was just, obviously part of it was because I don't have an income anymore, but was just to cut down on the treats. So, gone are the days when I'm like, oh, Blu-rays, oh, geek items, oh, this, that, and the other. So it's I've cut down on a lot. I don't really miss it because I've got enough geek items to keep me quiet, enough films to keep me quiet. But that's one thing. I haven't been to as many events as I normally would. So I kind of miss that aspect. But you got to do that being an adult. Just be responsible sometimes. Who knew that was a thing?
Yeah, man. There's a friend of mine who used to play for the NFL, and he was fortunate in that he understood that, at some point he wouldn't be playing for the NFL anymore, and that he needed to look after his money early on. And so he's still fine. But I mean, there's a lot of people that were, those $26 million players, and now they're working at Lowe's or Home Depot, and not knocking that at all. But I mean, that's not where they saw themselves, because they thought that they had made it. And but money doesn't last, man. I mean, it can, but I mean, it's a fickle commodity.
It's one of those things. If you could go back to your very early youth and go, let me give you some advice: save money up, dickhead. Yeah. then you would. I would. I would tell myself, get a career. Something. I mean, obviously, I know to do what I do, but I don't make any money doing it. So get a career and be smarter with your money. Stop spending it on crap that's going to be like worth nothing in 6 months' time, just because you want it now.
Right. Yep. And
So,
you think about in our lifetime, how much money did we make? Not that we didn't have expenditures and stuff, but I mean, you and I probably easily have made at least $1 million.
probably.
Maybe. I mean,
Yep.
because you and I are, we're over 50. How's that?
Mhm.
And and I mean, it's just kind of amazing the money that was just kind of, thrown away. And we didn't think about it. I mean, and then you invest in things. It's like, oh well, this guitar, I love this guitar. I've got to have this guitar. And how much is it devalued over the last decade?
Well, it's like video games. I had a PlayStation.
Dude.
I had a PlayStation 2. I probably had about 100 games. I haven't got any of them anymore, and I don't have a PlayStation 2 anymore. So however much I spent on that, and then DVDs over the years, I do still have a lot of those. So that's a thing. But the technology. Ooh, I spent £2,500 on a TV once.
Right.
It was a 36-inch television, and it was great, and it was 100 megahertz, and it was amazing. And now people would probably find it in a museum. They'd be like, "What is that thing?"
That's right. Wait a minute. It's insane. As deep as it is wide. What is that thing? Right.
Well, when I moved it out of the house, it took 4 people to carry the television.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
There was one when we moved in here. We had this big TV. My ex, her dad ran like a TV shop, right? And so we would get secondhand goods. But anyway, I already had one flat screen TV, but this was the TV that the kids watched, right? And it was big, but it was still a tube, right? And I was the only one moving us into the house, and I was going down the house, down these steps, and I had it on a cart, and it fell off, and it rolled, and I was like, "That's awful," but it didn't tear up the wall. And now I have an excuse. I'll go get a new TV. The damn thing worked, man.
Wow. So it didn't even die. Nope.
No. So I was hoping something good would come out of it.
Nowadays, if a dog's tail touches our TVs, it's like, oh, you've cracked a screen.
Right.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That are smart devices. They fall on the floor, and then boom, man,
They do indeed. Yeah. So what are some of the best TV shows that you've seen this year that existed before? So this is obviously like your season 2s, 3s, and 4s and stuff.
Gotcha, man. It's funny. I thought that somehow you had been a fly on the wall, or my house is bugged, and
it is
from
the bubble, the green bubble there, the top green bubble. That's where the device is.
There you go. But I asked Jake something similar to that. I said, what is a movie that you saw this year that existed, since the dawn of movies that you had never seen? It's new to you. So anyway, I thought that was where you're going with that. As far as TV shows, I didn't really rank them as far as my enjoyment of them, like my top favorite, whatever. But
I don't.
I came up with 14.
Wow.
Yeah, cause me and Liz. It's kind of like when I came up with, hey, movies that come from video games, and I was like, 4, 5. Anyway, so sometimes my lists don't pan out, but this really did, man. I mean, so the first one that came to mind, for what it's worth, was Only Murders in the Building. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and
Selena Gomez.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted so bad to say Celine Dion, and I knew that was incorrect. So in every direction. But that was good, man. In season 3, so that also fits your criteria.
Mm-hmm.
But that was on Hulu, so that was one of the 2 points that Hulu got on my list.
Nice.
And of course, Ted Lasso. Low-key, I think you saw season 1, but not season 2.
I saw season 1. I've kind of I've got behind on Marvel, so I'm like, I don't know what's going on with Marvel anymore. So I'm just at some point I may catch up. When Marvel stop, they'll never stop.
Right. Let's see here, and then Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan on Prime, and that was the final season, dude. I really enjoyed that show. are you into Reacher? That's another Prime show.
I love season 1, and
Yeah.
season 2 has just started, and they've shown episodes, and then they're going to week to week it, aren't they? So I'm going to wait until they're all on,
you're smart, man.
and then sign up for a month and batter it, and then check out again.
So that's good. Let's see here. Strange New Worlds season 2 came out.
Yep.
And then I didn't know what to do with the English. I don't know if you saw that. It was a miniseries.
No.
So it was kind of like, is it a long movie broken up into parts, or is it a TV show that has one season and that's it?
That would be it. I would class that as a best new TV / limited series, because I got a section for that.
No, really, man.
I do. Yeah.
So anyway, man, there's more, but share some of yours and then we'll jump back to mine and go back and forth. I didn't mean to monopolize.
No, it's fine. I have got Happy Valley season 3, which is a British show, which is it's really good. That would probably be a BritBox or maybe a BBC iPlayer. If you have BBC catch up stuff over there, that would be on that. It's very, very good. Top Boy season 5, or technically season 3. The Top Boy is a British gangland drama.
Michelle likes that.
It's really good. It showed on the reason it's 5/3 is because the first 2 seasons were made by Channel 4 here in the UK.
Right.
And then Channel 4 went, we're not going to make any more. So everybody went mad, and they're like, what? We want more Top Boy. And then the musician Drake, he's a really big fan of Top Boy. And he went, I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back to Netflix. So season 3 came out, but Netflix decided we're going to call it season 1. So
they don't have the first
they're
seasons?
They're both on there, but they gave them a subtitle so it's weird. So there are actually 5 seasons of Top Boy, but it depends how you watch it. They should all be on Netflix, but it's very weird. On Netflix, they called the original season 1 and 2 Top Boy Summer House, which is the name of the housing estate where all the kids live. So you've got Top Boy Summer House season 1, Top Boy Summer House season 2, Top Boy season 1 Netflix, Top Boy season 2 Netflix, Top Boy season 3 Netflix. So it's like, it's a weird thing, but so if Michelle's not seen these Summer House ones, go back and watch them because they're really good. It's really good. Ted Lasso season 3.
Yep.
And
which was phenomenal, man.
Really was.
It's like a friend moving to some third world country where they don't have internet and they can't call. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I enjoyed every season.
I missed that show, but don't bring it back. As much as it's like, not everything needs to carry on till it's terrible. Don't bring it back. And my favorite one was Succession season 4.
That was really good too. I forgot that, and you know what? That would justify me having Max this year. So thank you. It makes me feel a little bit better.
So those are mine. Those are my existing TV ones.
Nice, man. Slow Horses, which we're on season 2 now, which I think you said that you tried it and didn't like the flavor.
I did. I just found it a little bit slow, which, because it's in the name. But maybe I suspect it's probably just the mood I was in at the time. I wasn't in the mood for that. So I'll probably go back. Because it's Gary Oldman, isn't it? So it's like,
Dude, and he looks so terrible. And he does, like, we were thinking, well, okay, so that's a wig. They obviously rub Vaseline on his face to make him look greasy. And no, that's just the way he works, man. He is the consummate actor. And they were like, well, but we'll throw some padding. No, I'm just going to let myself run down. And dude, it is hilarious. I think you would enjoy it if you gave it a fair shake. But sometimes I can't remember what the first episode was like, but sometimes it takes you a few episodes just to get into something.
Mm. But I'll go back to it because I do like Oldman. So
yeah. Dude, some of his farts are hilarious.
I did see it. I think the show actually opens with one, doesn't it? Where he wakes himself up on the couch.
There's in this one scene, he's like interrogating somebody. I don't want to give anything away, but anyway, it's like obviously he's pretty malodorous anyway, and all of a sudden he just like leans over, and oh man, I mean, like, it's just one of those that's so vivid in sound. And the guy was just like, holy shit, man. He was and he's smoking in this guy's car too, man. Anyway, and it's a nice car. But it's just he is hilarious.
I will go back and watch that one.
Yeah. Let's see here. What else? Star Wars: The Bad Batch has been very good. That was season 2, and what was the other one that started the whole thing? It's another Dave
Rebels,
Filoni,
uh,
probably. Yeah, and
Clone
so
Wars, maybe.
Clone, yeah,
Clone
yeah.
Wars.
And so I only started watching these things because I watched the Rosario Dawson version, the live action version of Ahsoka. And it said, if you want to know more about Ahsoka, watch this small handful of episodes, which is kind of like a crack dealer saying, hey, just try this
Mhm.
little sample. And I was like, wow, man, it looks janky. Like, and I'm not, that sounded more negative than I meant it to be. But I mean, like, it looks like something that's built for kids. But yet, man, I mean, it's Star Wars universe. It is the Star Wars stories that we are never going to be told except through this Dave Filoni cartoon medium. And really, really good, man. So that's been good. Have you checked out Lawman Bass Reeves on Paramount Plus?
No.
It's based on a factual character, who this guy was a slave, and then after the Civil War, he was freed, and then he got into law enforcement. And this guy was notorious for going in and catching all these bad guys that were very elusive. He would go out into the Midwest and I mean, like, so I was already very familiar with him due to a project that we almost did back, I don't know, 15 years ago, somewhere in there. And anyway, but I mean, yeah, so I'd already done my research, and so it's cool seeing somebody pay homage to this guy. And we've seen him in so many different movies and TV shows as like an add-on Western character. Oh, that's Bass Reeves, and so anyway, but that's been really good. I've enjoyed that. Did you see Justified? And then did you see Justified City Primeval?
I started watching Justified, and I like Tim Oliphant, and I
Yeah.
like oh god, what's his name? I forgot his name. Walton Goggins. He's great in like everything. And I
Right.
think I've watched maybe the first 3 episodes of Justified like 4
Yeah.
times over the years, and for some
Right.
reason I just get
Yeah.
distracted by something else. So I've never
Right.
finished it. So I've not seen the full run of the original series. So I've not
Yep.
seen this resurgence of it either.
Yeah.
Way
And
behind.
they've wrapped it up. I think this is, kind of like when Farscape got the shaft on Sci-Fi, and then they were like, you know what, everybody is really pissed at this, so we're gonna tell a movie, kill off some favorite characters, and be done with all of you people. So I think Justified City Primeval, and it was good, man. He's got swagger. I'm with you on
Yeah.
Oliphant. I think he plays himself in everything, kind of like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
But I mean, just very cool. And but anyway, but I mean, and my only concern is that when someone will watch that and go, yeah, that's how all the Yanks talk over in the United
No.
States. So.
Yeah. We have the same thing in the UK. It's like everybody seems to think people in Britain are all Downton Abbey or something. It's like, no, we're not. We don't all live in mansions. We don't all have servants, and
right.
We're Top Boy's pretty accurate, I would say, but thankfully not where I live. But
right.
That's a thing.
Yeah. And then Reacher, Monarch, Hijack is another one you should catch while you've got your
Hijack. I've seen. I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
that
really.
was good. And I get that's the end of my list, my TV shows.
I watched Hijack in a weekend. It was like the full run of it. It's really
you're
good.
smart, because Michelle and I were, we saw the first episode. Maybe they give you 2 on Apple, I can't remember. But then after that, waiting week to week to week. So
I don't mind waiting, but often I'll forget that, oh yeah, I'm watching that thing. So I would rather go, I'm going to block out this weekend to like watch all the episodes of Monarch and catch up. Or I don't know how many there are in this season of Monarch, but I think the episode 5 or 6 I think has just dropped. So I'm a little bit behind on that. But
so what do you think about Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell playing the same character? I mean, like, it's pretty genius.
Yeah. There was a shot in the 3rd episode where, and do you know what I really like about Monarch is it does flashbacks.
Yeah.
But every episode it reminds you what year the flashback is. So
Right.
it doesn't do that thing when it's like, you should remember, or if you don't know, you're not
Right.
smart enough. It doesn't show off.
Right.
It
Yeah.
reminds you. And it was at one point where they start on Kurt Russell and then they sort of dissolve shot into Wyatt. And it's
Yeah.
like, that was a perfect shot. I'm like, that is impressive. But no, it's
Yep.
genius casting. Even the
Yeah.
voice is like,
Yep.
I
Mannerisms,
100%
everything.
buy
Yeah.
that they're the same person.
And
It's
they
very
have similar jaw muscles and lower, I mean, there's certain things that are a dead ringer. And there was some shot, I think in the last episode, where Wyatt, the camera was low and he was kind of leaning his head, and damn, he became his dad. It was that, but yeah, man, it's a fun show. And they haven't come up to the present. It's still 2015, is it not, in the show?
Because
So
I
is
think
that tied into the Godzilla movie that
Yeah,
came
yeah.
out with Stranger Things and all that?
because the Godzilla movie, the Bryan Cranston one,
Yeah.
was 2015, if I remember rightly enough. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't kill me if I'm wrong, but I think that's why it ties into that whole timeline. So maybe a season 2 will then, because obviously we've had to tie into Skull Island with John Goodman way early on, so that was quite like,
Right.
well,
Yeah.
but no, it's a good show. Best new TV shows. Woohoo! Right, this is one you put me onto, Shrinking.
Yeah. Good, man.
Love it. Love Shrinking. I hope that's
Yeah.
coming back. I hope it is.
I think, I mean, I didn't hear any bad press on it. I didn't hear that any actors were outdone with, any of the other actors. So I hope that Apple will bring it back. They're not, and I agree with you. I hope they will leave Ted Lasso alone. I don't want to see a partial cast come back and do anything. I mean, like, that was an ensemble cast that should not, be cut apart and stuff. But yeah, so it'd be nice if Shrinking would come back. See what happens to everybody.
The other shows are pretty much British shows, so you may not be familiar with the subject matter or whatever they are. The Long Shadow, which is a period piece set in the 70s in England, where there is a serial killer killing prostitutes called the Yorkshire Ripper, who was actually, I remember the news stories and everything. It was like grim. So that follows that case. There is The Reckoning, which is another BBC 4-part TV show starring Steve Coogan. He plays a very, very famous TV presenter called Jimmy Savile, who was, I'm trying to think who would probably have been the equivalent. Maybe Mr. Rogers,
Gotcha.
Huge name. And then it turned out he was like the biggest pedophile like ever, hundreds of cases, and
wow.
So there was that, and Steve Coogan plays him, and it's the casting's just uncanny. You forget it's Steve Coogan.
Yeah, what is that on? Because it seemed like that was on Hulu or something that we get in the States, and I remember, or maybe it was just some like YouTube trailer or something for it, but. Yeah, I remember seeing that about half a year ago. Yeah.
It was a BBC show, so wherever the BBC things catch on. But yeah, that's kind of mind blowing. Another one is Boiling Point, which is another British show, all set in a kitchen. It's kind of you're going to think it's just like the Bear. It's kind of, the Bear is amazing as well. So I watched all of that this year. It's not like that, but it is still set in a kitchen. But it's very, very good.
So the Bear is worth watching, huh?
The Bear is really good. It is, two seasons. I think the episodes are like half an hour each or something. They're not too long. But I binge watched 2 seasons in probably about a week. Gotcha. So when I dedicate my time to something, I go for it. And the final one is Archie, which is Jason Isaacs, who plays Malfoy's dad in Harry Potter. And he plays Cary Grant.
Oh, that's relatively new, isn't it?
It's very new, within the past couple of months. It's really good.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, I think it just hit the States, and I think that's something else I've seen either on Prime or something. So probably is on Prime.
So any of those,
that's probably BritBox advertising right there. So
it probably is. Yep, it probably is. So that's my news shows. / limited series shows. So you're one and done.
Yeah, man. And I did not make that list. And
That's okay.
I'm trying to remember if there's anything that came out that was just phenomenal. That was let's see here. Well, I mean, Ahsoka was good. What else, man? When did Obi-Wan come out? That was last year.
Oh, that was way back when. That was in a galaxy far, far away, way before 2023.
Yeah, it was funny. You know how I made most of my list was scrolling through, because I didn't really tweet much in 2023. I just didn't care, and so it's very easy for me just to see what I actually liked, because I actually tweeted about it. So it wasn't like where I just 15 to 100 tweets a day. It was probably 100 tweets in a year, man, and I just scrolled through.
So
I want to flip the lights on since the sun is setting over here.
Yes. And then I'm gonna pick John's brains on the best event. What is the best event that you've attended or hosted or something this year, John? I've only got 2, but to be fair, it doesn't really reflect on why the one that wins, because I didn't really do many events. I genuinely did enjoy the one that I did. But I haven't really done that many this year. I've done any film festivals or anything like that.
I did not. So you're going to win this no matter what it is.
Right. Well, my number one is it's a Bandcamp listening party, which I'd never done before.
Yeah.
And I attended it. So Chris, who's a genius musician, he records under the name Anorex. He's I keep calling him a Canadian, but I think, and I was lying in bed the other night thinking of Chris. And I'm like, I know he's in Canada, but is he an American that moved to Canada? And if he's an American that moved to Canada, does he get upset that I call him Canadian? So Chris, drop me a message and let me know what breed you are, sir. Are you American or are you Canadian?
It's kind of like Neil. I mean, does he still feel Australian? Does he feel British? Or does he feel like he's an LA inhabitant?
Neil's a mongrel. He's like
he's a gypsy.
He's like from he's got more passports than Jason Bourne, that guy. So. Yes, you, Neil. I'm talking to you, Neil. He's probably clinging on the side of some volcano at the minute, anyway, to be fair. Who knows?
Probably, man. And no safety harness. Literally, just, one hand in, and then he's got his camera in the other. So.
He doesn't care. He does shit that Tom Cruise wouldn't even do, to be fair.
That's right.
But yeah, so I attended the listening party for Chris's new EP, and I'm like, I don't even know what a listening party is on Bandcamp. Do you just press play and you listen to the album? You do. You press play and you listen to the album, or rather, he presses play and listen to the album. But he was also in a little chat room. Yeah. And so he'd released his new EP, which I've written the title down because it's a very long title. The Beast's Understanding of Death. So it's a nice, happy Christmassy. As you can tell, it's a Christmas EP. I love his music. It's all primarily instrumental, but he does have little bits of dialogue from old radio plays, it turns out, cut into it. So there are sort of lyrics, but it's
well, you
primarily.
Have to send me a link.
I will indeed. So he'd done his launch party, a listening party for this new EP, and I thought, I'm not doing it now. I'm going to make sure I'm in it. And it was fascinating because I'm like, Chris, where'd you come up with these names? Because they're all instrumentals. So there's no lyrics that you can go, let's call it Where the Streets Have No Name, because that's part of the. And so we were just, me and the other people in there were just quizzing him, going, how long does that take? Why'd you do that? And it was fascinating because I speak to a lot of filmmakers, but I generally don't speak to a lot of musicians. So I had an absolute blast, and I'm hoping that he does launch listening parties for his other EPs. But I would definitely send to some of his stuff. I think he needs to score films. I keep saying that. And if I ever actually finished a film, then I'd get him to score it. But I don't finish anything. It's not a documentary, to be fair, nowadays. So that was my favorite event of the year, was Anirex's listening party. But have you not? So no places you've been out to this year where you're like, that's kind of top of my list, that one?
You know what? I'm gonna throw another bone to the family, and our second grandchild Xander was born back in August, And if I'm wrong on that date, I apologize, Xander, who will be listening to this podcast 10 years in the future. But anyway, so that was probably the biggest event that I attended this year. And I wasn't in the birthing room.
No.
I just showed up with Michelle and got to hold my new grandson, which if you've ever held like a fresh baby.
Oh God, no.
There's,
no,
I mean,
no.
It's like,
no.
they're all bundled up and they're just asleep, man. So it's like, okay. Isn't that baby cute? Yeah. I mean, like, what do you say? Isn't he full of personality? He's just laying here, I mean, and so now he is full of personality and laughs and farts and burps and cuts up. And before long, he'll be running around getting into mischief and probably making some props with pops. So, and maybe that's a good YouTube show, man.
I believe it is. So our favorite events were both launch parties, really, weren't they?
Right.
Think about it.
Right.
So that works.
Good one,
that is a draw, 1-1 to that one.
Right.
So let's get on to the movies, because this is the big thing, isn't it? What are your favorite movies of the year? I haven't ranked mine, but I do have a number one favorite movie.
What
so John
Killers
Wick.
of the Flower Moon.
No, I watched that. I liked it. I did. I
had never seen a purpose in, like when you're watching Netflix and you can watch a movie at 2x. I thought, why would anyone want to do that? And
Killers
then
of the Flower Moon, yeah.
Anyway, it is Scorsese. I admire the fact that he is still in prominence in making movies, but that does not make me want to watch the rest of the movie, man. But anyway, carry on. You were saying
the first hour and a half of Killer of the Flower Moon, you're like, this is really good. This is really good. I'm into it. I'm learning the story. Lily Gladstone's amazing. Then there's like from an hour and a half to about 2.5 hours, you go, so what's this film about again? Is anything? Are you all right? What are you doing tomorrow? We're doing a show, and it just seems to drag for an hour, and then it picks back up speed again. And by the end of it, you're like, that was a really good film. But just like an hour of it where it just goes, what has everybody forgotten? What's everybody doing? So it's an odd one. It didn't go in my list, but it was a good film. I did enjoy it, but just too long. My favorite film of the year is John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah, that was good, man. And I forgot to put that on the list. I kind of scrolled through my Voodoo account to see what was on there, and I think all the John Wick movies were added at the same time, so it just kind of fell in, but that was good. So that's interesting, man. I mean, because we saw that twice.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. My original, up to about a month ago, so I'd recently rewatched John Wick Chapter 4, saw it at the cinema, loved it. It went on the top 10 list. I'm like, that's really good. Then I saw Evil Dead Rise.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
And that became my number one film of the year. I'm like, that's it. That's my number one. And then I rewatched John Wick Chapter 4, and I'm like, this is like an hour or so longer than Evil Dead Rise.
Right.
How Chad Stahelski has done some of this stuff. How Keanu Reeves has not collapsed in a heap doing some of this stuff. The stunt team, the sheer, oh my God, you've made this thing. Bump John Wick Chapter 4 back up on top of the list.
Especially trying to climb 1,000 steps with 1,000 assassins in your way. So
and then to do it again, it was just like, and even watching it, I mean, you had the dog in there, which was amazing. It was just, it's such a good film. So that's my favorite one of the year. Obviously, spoiler, Evil Dead Rise is also in my list. That was my number 2 one, but I absolutely adore that film as well. I also have The Fabelmans, which came out in the UK over here in 2023, so that counts. Normally I have films that came out years ago. It's just like, hey, The Sound of Music, because I'd never seen it until this year. But I'm like, this year I really want it to be 2023 movies, just so I can, be an adult and do it properly, not cheat.
Right.
So The Fabelmans.
Yeah, we saw that 2 months ago. It was good.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, Michelle wanted to watch it because it reminded her of me shooting movies and stuff. And 2, my dad was early on, he was not a supporter of my hobby of making movies. Same thing when he bought me my first electric guitar, and I was like, man, I'm gonna be a rock and roll star. And he's like, no, you're not. You can't write, and you're never gonna make any money. So this is another hobby. And I was just like, wow, man, Soul Crusher. I'm going to prove you wrong. And I never made any money off my guitar, but I did write a few songs. We won't go into that. But yeah, but as far as movie making, yeah, man. I mean, I've been paid and even won awards. So yeah.
And voice acting, you just rattled off that big long list of credits. You're like,
Right.
that's part of filmmaking, isn't it? You're a very important
It is, man.
ingredient in the commercials and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Next one, A Man Called Otto, starring Tom Hanks.
That was so good, man.
Really liked it.
And I know I told you this before, but in case there's anybody new in your thousands upon hundreds of thousands of listeners, I did think that was Oppenheimer, and I was thrown off by the fact that it was not moving. And I don't even, is Tom Hanks even in Oppenheimer? I don't know.
Nope.
But anyway, so I didn't understand the movie to begin with. And then it was funny, and then I'm like, what? And then Michelle was like, what do you think this is? A movie about the atomic bomb? No. But it was an amazing movie. I did enjoy it.
I really want to watch A Man Called Oppenheimer. That needs to be a or the film where Cillian Murphy's in it playing a grumpy neighbor who's just like, go away, leave me alone, that type of thing. And a cat keeps following him around. I'd watch that movie. I do have Oppenheimer in my list of favorite films of the year. That is not the Tom Hanks one, by the way. The next one I have is The Covenant, Jake Gyllenhaal, Guy Ritchie film, which I don't know if you've seen that one. That's on Amazon Prime.
I don't think so, man.
And Jake Gyllenhaal plays a military guy, based on a true story. He's a military guy who goes to Afghanistan, and he gets into trouble, and he ends up sort of being helped by an interpreter. If you've not seen it, I won't say any more than that. But
I saw the trailer and I wanted to see it, and I'm glad you say it's on Prime. And
really
hopefully it is in the States too, because I checked that out.
It's really, really good. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with you as Groot is in there. I love that. That's obviously a no-brainer, that one being in there. I've put Barbie in my list because I really like Barbie.
Dude, it made my list too, which go figure. I mean, we're two manly men who enjoy Barbie. So, but it had such a deep story. And when what's her name? America Ferrari.
Yes.
Anyway,
Ferrara.
When she gives the final monologue about all that women go through, wow, man. I mean, like, not only is she, I mean, the first time I saw her was in Ugly Betty. And she has grown as an actor, but two, everything she said was so poignant, and we were entertained, and then we were educated, you know? And so, really surprisingly good movie, especially with all the negative press. And it was like, oh, is this for kids? I don't think so, blah, blah, blah. And, but no, man, it was good.
I ignore the press now. They just annoy me. It's like, we've done several podcasts on that. So it's just like, you know what, I make my own mind up. And if I don't like it, I'm all right. I chose to watch the damn thing. My second last one is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves.
That was good.
Really, really good film. I didn't think it would be, but it was. And then my final one, which is probably the newest film that I've seen. My God, is this film divisive on the internet? And the ones that don't like it, I don't understand what they've watched. I don't. It's like, did you watch the same film I did? Because no. And it's Leave the World Behind. You don't
know anything about it. No.
It right. So put it on your list. You've got to watch it. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you anything else about it, but because I went in.
Is this the one that has
Julia Roberts?
Johansson
Julia Roberts. It's a Julia Roberts movie.
Okay.
I don't watch any trailers. Just go in and watch it.
Okay.
And then go online and have a look and see what people are saying. You've got people like me who are like, it's such a good film and genius. And then you've got other people who are like, this is the biggest waste of time I've ever had in my entire life. And but those ones, the waste of time ones. Their critique about it, you go, I don't get. No.
Right.
You clearly didn't watch the same film that I watched or that people who liked it watched. So definitely watch that one. But people get really mad over that film. Yeah. It's great. I love it. So I'm not going to tell you any more than that.
Right.
I do have some honorable mentions, which didn't quite make my top 10. I've got Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Now that was high up on your list earlier in the year.
It was. It got picked off by Leave the World Behind and Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I also have Cocaine Bear because why not? It's about a bear that does
Right.
cocaine.
Right.
Creed 3, which is
Yeah.
very, very good. Indiana
Yeah.
Jones and the Dial of Destiny because it's an
Yep.
Indiana Jones film and I enjoyed it. Screw
Right.
you, internet.
Right.
Empire of Light, which is the Sam Mendes film about people who own a cinema, and it's set back in the 80s, I believe. And it's for somebody
Yeah.
who loves movies, it's like the pure nostalgia. It's really, really good.
Wow, man.
That may be on Hulu or Disney. It's on one of those. We've got it on Disney over here because
Right.
we get all the Hulu stuff on Disney Plus
Right.
over here.
And they're gonna bottleneck and throw Hulu on our Disney as well, which is fine. Yeah.
I have 3 more. One is 65, the Adam Driver dinosaurs
Oh
thing.
yeah. Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Excellent, man. Yeah.
It was like it showed up, it started, it told its story, and then it left. You're like,
Right.
is there more to this? Nope, no more to this film. It's done. Credits out. It's very, very lean.
Yep.
The Ben Affleck film Air, which is about Air Jordans, about the shoes. Sounds dull,
Oh.
but it's a really good film.
Okay. All right.
And then the final one is Dumb Money, which is about the GameStop stock crash thing
yeah.
with Paul Dano. It's really, really
Right.
good.
Okay.
So I think it's been a really, really good year for films, personally. Hence that
I
list.
think it has too. Now,
been
how many
really,
times
really-
do you go to the movie theater itself?
I went to see Flash, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible,
Mm.
and I think that's it. That's the only movies that I saw. What about yourself? Have you been a lot
No.
or not so much?
Dude, I mean, we haven't been at all. I mean, like,
Oh,
that was
wow.
on the list, man. But I mean, and I'm fortunate. It's almost like, am I going to go out to the restaurant if the restaurant says, we'll just bring you your dinner? You don't even have to come out, man. And that's what HBO Max did for a while. That's what Netflix and these different, so at least now you can only see it in the movie theater to begin with, so it's not like, oh my gosh, Dune and some of these other movies that, no, it's premiering on Max, right? And so there was more incentive to get out. And I don't know what happened. You know what? I take that back. We did go see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in the movie theater. My buddy John Scott Richardson came in from New York for a visit, and I saw it again with him. So I did make it to the movie theater at least twice. Man, so that's it, though. But I mean, it just, for a guy who has a podcast called Waxing Cinematic, it looks like I would have gone to the silver screen at some point this year more than twice. And how much does that count as the same movie? I didn't even diversify, man.
No. I think for me, it's time. I mean, so many
Yeah.
films come out now. It's like, there's no way I'm going to cinema to watch Killers of the Flower Moon. I'd be out all
No.
day.
Right.
Oppenheimer, we had to make a full day of it, right? We'll go in the morning, have some food, watch this 3-hour film plus half an hour worth of trailers and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But I knew that I wanted to see that one on the big screen. It had to be that one.
Right.
Same with Mission Impossible. The Flash, we
Yep.
just went because I'm like, it looks fun and I like fun movies and I enjoy
it was fun. Yeah.
and I enjoy films. I don't feel a need to go quick, kill it,
Right.
stuff like that. And then I think Indiana Jones I missed because all these other films came out really close.
Right.
And I'm like, something's got to give, and it was Indiana Jones, unfortunately. So I picked that up when it arrived in my house. So I
don't think you missed anything watching it on your mega screen that's in your house. And it's kind of like The Flash. Because look, I enjoyed the movie, but some of the animation was janky. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it was.
it was what is the one with Tom Hanks, the Arctic Express or whatever that was.
Polar Express, yeah.
Polar Express, man. Where it's and you've got these babies falling and so anyway, in The Flash, not in Polar. But anyway, so and then there's the end, the multiverse, where you're seeing all these different versions of all these superheroes, which I think would have been cool if maybe they hadn't run out of budget sometime in the movie, but it was still fun, man.
It was, yeah.
I
did enjoy
Superman
that.
and Supergirl. Yeah, dude. I mean, this is what we grew up with. And a lot of the sounds were there as well. And so, yeah, man, I mean, like, I enjoyed it. It made me laugh. And that was kind of a big criteria. move me in some direction other than out of the room.
Yeah.
You know, but if you make me laugh, then yeah. But you know, it's so you've got Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which made me laugh a lot. Flash did, but the creator,
Oh, that was good.
was a masterpiece,
Yeah,
man. But
yeah.
it didn't necessarily make me laugh, but it told such a good story, and I like the fact that it didn't have a Disney ending. I
Yeah.
mean, like, it was a story completed versus, hey, we're all together going off in the galaxy or some nonsense like that, man. You know, because I just, you know, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 had an awesome ending, and they did kind of go their separate ways. But I mean, still, you know, there's potential. It's not like a dead end for the series. But yeah, man, I get tired of, especially sci-fi, wanting that sweet ending. Why, dude? You know,
Yeah, we
if
don't
if
need
they,
so. You know,
yeah,
Blade Runner. Oh, that's not a feel good film, is it? Really?
right.
But we love it.
I told you before that one of the first scripts that I read when this is back in 1990, and I wanted to write movies. I knew that was what I wanted to do, and so I went out to LA, stayed with my cousin in Beverly Hills, and went to the American, whatever, it's AMPUS. I can't remember the acronym, but anyway, of arts and science. So anyway, I went in there and read the original Blade Runner script,
Wow.
and in the end, Deckard takes, oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. His love interest, who is
Rachel.
a replicant, Rachel, yes.
Yep.
She'd never seen the beach, so he took her to the beach and retired her. And I was just like, wow, man, that is cold, man.
Yep.
And I think the way it ended was fine. A lot of mystery and stuff, and of course that opened the doors for 2049. But yeah, man. But I was like, wow, man. But I mean, you remember when there was the first Spider-Man script where I almost said Uncle Owen. Oh my God, I'm on a Star Wars kick. Uncle Ben was an abusive alcoholic, and you know, it's just like, wait a minute, what? This isn't the comic book. So anyway, but it's interesting, different people's takes on different stories. So,
But
did you?
the creator, I
Yeah,
did enjoy that. I'd forgotten about that
yeah,
one. Yeah.
yep. That was high on my list. And then if you haven't seen the making of the creator, amazing, dude. I mean, like, yeah. So, and then we need a catch up episode with me, you, and Neil. Can
We
you do a
do.
split screen
Yeah,
so
oh
you can
yeah.
have all three of us?
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Let's just don't mention the creator though, because I said I'd watched it, and I'm like, and he'll hear this. Hi Neil, yeah, I'm talking to you. He's like, did you watch the creator? I went, it's
Yep.
really good, really. And Neil's like,
Yep.
too much grain. Didn't use the wrong camera. Used the wrong lens. I'm like, fuck's sake, Neil. No,
that is
stop
exactly
ruining
what
it.
he told me. He said if I had the oh my God, the not IMAX, it was some sort of adapter, blah blah blah. With the camera that I bought from him, I could have shot something equally as beautiful or whatever. And he said, yeah, it's too much grain. But anyway, but it's fun.
It's
And
like,
I get that, man. You know, it's
I
like
don't get it. I'm like,
yeah.
Neil, shut up.
Dude, it's the studio that I have worked with. I'll leave them without a name. Anyway, I've done some voiceover in their studio, right?
Mm,
I hate their freaking microphone because it has this tin sound. Mine makes my voice sound amazing, and it makes other people's voices sound amazing.
yeah.
And this just sounds like they bought it for $50 at a yard sale. And so I get where Neil's coming from when I'm hearing trash and I'm like, you're paying us all to speak into that can with a string? I mean, you know, so anyway, yeah. So I get it. Yeah.
It's like
But it was
I'm gonna
yeah,
send Neil a sympathy card sometimes, because it's like I watch something like The Creator, which is this
right.
not an IP, it's not a franchise, it's not a
Yep.
multiverse, it's not a sequel,
Right.
it's nobody, you don't know anything about this thing. You put it on, and I sat there and I'm like, this is great. These effects are awesome. I love
Yeah.
this music. It's got a great score to it.
Yeah.
And I come away from it going, that was an awesome evening entertainment. And I go,
Yeah.
Neil, what did you think? It's like, too much grain. I'm like, Neil, no, stop it.
I'll send you a screenshot of our discussion about it because it was the same thing, man.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yep.
Yeah. So what's on your list? What have you got?
Let's see here. And this is not in any particular order
Yeah.
because again, if I needed to laugh, which I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3 4 times now, but it's just a good wrap up for the whole thing. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I thought was very creative. And all the different styles of Spider-Man and Spider-Horse and Dune Buggy, all these things that I never knew existed, but yet they've been in the they've been in the comics. There's Spider T-Rex, and anyway, man, it just, but the way they put all these styles together, including having live action in this multiverse at times, it was just really cool, man. I enjoyed that. And then the that is one of those soundtracks that when you're watching the movie, it fits, man. You're just like, man, I can't wait to buy the score, right? And then you get it, and it's just like a bunch of beats that don't do anything without the visual. And I'm not saying it's bad, but yeah, I just anyway. So
you were saying the same thing about the Succession soundtrack, weren't you? You're like, in the show
right.
It works, but you listen to it out, you're like,
Yep.
What is this? Stop rehearsing, play the proper music.
It's like when you're a kid and you learn something. Oh my gosh, what was there was some piano part that I learned because I'm a guitarist, right? But I was like, oh my God, and I'm not gonna sing this. I'll find the song later. But anyway, it's from the '80s, and Cold as Ice. Whoever did that. So anyway, and you learn that, right? And then you learn that you can also change keys, put it to a minor key or a major key. And so yeah, listening to Succession was kind of like that. It's like it's the same damn thing. It's just in a different key, or he's gonna slow it down a little bit, or speed it up a little bit. And it works so perfect when you're watching the visuals go along with it. But otherwise, you're like, why in the hell did I buy all 3 seasons of the score, man?
Yep.
Let's see here. So, my iPad's trying to conserve battery, you know.
See, this is why you go. This is why you do paper.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. I thought that was tight, man.
Yeah.
If I could find fault in that and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is also on my list, I think there could have been a little less action and a little more story.
Yeah.
I know that kind of sounds like an old Elvis Presley song, but yeah, man. I mean, like at some point, I enabled mom and dad to watch Indiana Jones on, I can't remember if it's Disney or Voodoo. And they got to the end and they said, well, thanks, we can't sleep now, because they watched it late afternoon and they were exhausted from watching it, but they were just too amped up. It was, so, but I mean, but they were both really, really good. And, it'll be interesting to see how, Dead Reckoning 2 Electric Boogaloo wraps things up. So, let's see here. The Flash, Creed 3, A Million Miles Away. Did you see that? It was on Prime.
Not heard of that one.
And I can't think of the main actor's name, man. He's the comedy relief in Ant-Man. But he's been in he can play comedic. He can
Michael Pena.
Yes.
Pena? Yep.
So he is the lead in this, and this is I copied and pasted because I knew they would do a better job of summarizing it. But it's a biopic about Jose Hernandez and his path from a farm worker, to becoming an engineer and then an astronaut. That was his dream. And the fact that it's based on a real story and it has such heart. And I think as creatives, we can all understand those moments when we're just like, damn, I quit. This is stupid. Everybody is right. I'm wrong. I have been believing in myself and I'm a dumbass. And then you come about that turn and you take that corner and you're like, wow, wait a minute. I wasn't a dumbass. I have put all this work into it. And now I'm so close to achieving my dream. And he moved forward really, really good. And I mean, it's a simple story, but I mean, it was cool. Plus I love space stories, not just sci-fi, but mainly sci-fi, because everything I was gonna bring up is all sci-fi. But
sci-fi.
Anyway,
I love
Yeah.
biopics, so I'm in.
Yeah.
And that was A Million Miles Away, you said that was called?
A Million Miles Away. Yeah,
I'm
man.
writing
Really
that
good.
down. Yeah.
The Mario Brothers movie with Chris Pratt,
Yeah.
that was
That's
good.
it.
And that was a surprise. I mean, like, I wasn't the one who wanted to watch it. I think it was Michelle Vanel. I can't remember if my granddaughter Roxley was here or not. But anyway, I was like, yeah, okay, we'll watch it. And it was great. So,
Can I just say, Roxley is one of the coolest names. Every time you mention that, like that's like a famous person's name. It's a cool name.
Yep, she will be infamous, no doubt.
Yep.
Let's see here. Peter Pan and Wendy. Did
Okay.
you see that?
Nope.
On Disney. Dude, there's something about my childhood and Peter Pan where I guess it was my great grandmother taking me to the movie theater and me watching it, but it was just, I don't know, man. I mean, like, it's just magical. So every time I've been to Disneyland or Disney World and gone on the Peter Pan ride, which you're on a ship and then you're going over a miniature town, but the way they start you off and then you're distracted and you turn around and then you're 100 miles in the air, not 100 miles, 10 miles in the air or whatever, but you're going over England, you see Big Ben and all that. And man, it's just, it took me back to being a kid. And so when they redid this, and this is mainly based upon the original animated movie, it was solid, man. I mean, it had that heart. And I think that's the thing that Disney, especially, it's like, well, heart costs money, and we want to make money. So let's just take a crap on this franchise and hope it pans out so we can make lots of money and ruin people's childhood. But yeah, man, it was really good, man. Jung-E, which is on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, man, it's I think it's a Korean movie, but it is sci-fi, which seems to be a criteria for most of the things on my list.
Yeah.
But it was really good, man. Full of action and cyborgs, and anyway, it's good, man. Okay. Yeah. Shazam! Fury of the Gods made me laugh. Easy, man. And then
you were the one that saw Shazam 2, were you? Right. I always wondered who watched that film, and it was you. Yeah.
It was me and Michelle. So that's two.
That's what
man.
it was. That's two. That's both tickets are been accounted for. Yep.
Right. No, we watched it on Max. So so it was absorbed. So how about music? How big a part does music play in your life? I mean, like, and scores, yes. I mean, because I'll listen to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I'll listen to scores in and out during the day. Sometimes I'm editing a piece, like a scene from, whatever TV show I'm working on, and it's just dry. And even though the music may not go exactly with the content, I'll still have it just so that my brain is not thinking about everything else I'd rather be doing in that moment.
Yeah. I think music is a big thing for me. There have been some really good score. My favorite, I've actually done a best score thing, and these scores I've listened to a lot this year. It's the soundtrack to Gran Turismo by Lorne Balfe, which is a good film.
See the movie?
I've seen the movie. The movie's actually really good. I don't want to watch it because it's like, well, I know what Gran Turismo is, but I'm not very good at racing games, so I'm not really that bothered. But it's Neil Blomkamp, who I do like, and it's like there's got to be something more than just a film about racing cars. If Blomkamp's doing it, and it's a really good film. It's not science fiction, but it does have the Neil Blomkampness about it. It's really, really good. But the soundtrack by Lorne Balfe is really good. The John Wick Chapter 4 soundtrack by Tyler Bates is very, very good. And
Tyler Bates has done some of my favorite soundtracks, including, if I'm not mistaken, did a lot of the scoring for the Gears of War franchise, the video games.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt, but I thought
he's great. Every time I see Tyler Bates thing, I'm like, that'll be a good score because he's really good, but he's not always the same. It's not a lot of Hans Zimmer ones can be samey. Even though I do like Zimmer, but you can go, it's a Zimmer one. But Tyler Bates mixes it up. My favorite score of the year, though, which I listened to before I saw the movie, is Ludwig Göransson's Oppenheimer soundtrack.
Yeah,
I love that score.
And I still
really,
haven't seen that movie. I saw A
oh,
Man Called Otto, but I didn't see Oppenheimer.
so it's very good, but the score is amazing. It's
Yeah.
really, really, because it plays pretty much throughout the entire movie, so it's a long
Right.
score. But yeah, that's good music. But no, music is. I do listen to a lot of music. Modern artists, though, other than NRX from Chris, shout out to Chris
Right.
again.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to that many modern artists because it's like, where'd you find them now?
Right.
It's back in the day you would see them on MTV or something like. I don't watch MTV. I don't even know if it's still a thing anymore. But who knows?
I don't know what MTV is anymore. You are correct, and I don't pay for it, so I have no idea. Although MTV is a producing partner in Bass Reeves as well as some other Paramount shows. So, but that's all I know, man. It's just the MTV, that astronaut with the MTV flag. So
that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So music-wise, I've been going back and just listening to a lot of M83, who did the soundtrack to Oblivion, but they've also done their own music. I've been listening to like In Excess. I had Bryan Adams on yesterday, so I seem to be stuck decades ago for some reason. But
we don't listen to the radio like we used to. I think that was a big influencer because everywhere I would drive. And of course, I had a cassette deck in the car, but I mean, I was listening to the radio. I wanted to hear what was, and then we would have parties and stuff, and there was always the radio because no one wanted to take vinyls to a party, right? Because then, somebody doesn't like that. It's across the room, man. What?
Ends up like Shaun of the Dead. That's handy if you go to a party and there's a zombie breakout, then you could take them out with your Kylie Minogue album or old Madonna album, something. Take out a zombie with a copy of True Blue. That could happen.
Right. But I don't. I mean, like I listen to music through Pandora, YouTube, and Spotify, and people will send me. I mean, like even my buddy Mark Lassiter, who just came out with an album, another one. He's got like a dozen. But anyway, he came out with one a few months ago and calls me up and says, "Hey, man, I'm going to send you a link. Check it out on Spotify." And so he's not even printing CDs the way he used to, And so I think we can. I don't know, man. I think we listen to music and appreciate it in a different way. And I think movies is a good way, which, it's funny talking about Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. And there was always the score and then the various artists. So, I mean, they really made the bank. I know they had to pay the artists, but that was kind of funny because, man, I have each one. I have the score for each movie and I have the, the music by various artists. And but that's good, man. But it's like, because I think it was a buddy of mine that was an editor at a previous studio that I worked at back in the 2017, 2016. And he asked me if I'd ever heard of a band called Clutch. And it's kind of rock metal. I don't even know how to describe it, but anyway, that led me down a rabbit hole, and they just came out with an album. I think it was late last year. But I still listen to Clutch. Taylor Hawkins, who was the drummer for Foo Fighters, he died. And because of his death, I discovered his band, which I should have been familiar with because phenomenal music, man. Taylor Hawkins and the Coattail Riders. And there's one song where it's Bob Quit His Job. Anyway, I don't know. I'll send you a link.
Yeah,
but it's a fun song in that it's almost reminds you of the old Drew Carey show, the way it would come on, and dance could break out, whatever, right? And which did happen in the opening. So that's kind of the visuals. But anyway, on days when I really hate my job, then I just, John quit his job. John quit his job. Anyway, so yeah, I'm singing along, making up the words, and but it's just fun music. But it's interesting how you will go down the rabbit hole, as everyone says these days, and find a new movie or find a new, like an actor, which leads you to a director, which leads you to a TV series you didn't know existed. So we live in a very connected world, and that's awesome, man. Because back when it was the water cooler, if you didn't work at the right place, you'd never find out that, you should go see Flash Gordon scored by Queen, right?
Yeah, definitely. Or then follow up with Highlander, scored by Queen.
Right.
Oh, scored
Dude,
by Michael Kamen with Queen songs, just for the completeness
right.
of it.
Yes, indeed, man. Which, speaking of Highlander, I started watching that the other day, and I need to see some behind the scenes footage because I was thinking, this was done back in the early 80s,
Mhm.
and it is a crane shot. It had to be a crane because they didn't have drones. But I mean, like, it starts in the ring where the wrestlers are, and then just kind of, and I don't see a point at which they cut, they did any kind of crafty editing. It just goes and goes and goes until it hits Connor McLeod up there in the stands.
Yeah.
I am baffled by how they did that because I mean today it'd be a drone, it'd just be pre-programmed and okay, whatever. We take so much for granted, but man, that was impressive.
I suspect in the next few days, once this episode goes up, Neil will message you, and you'll
Right,
be like, "This is how they did it. This is
right.
how."
Yep.
Because Neil and I were at some of the locations where they shot Highlander
Really?
this year.
Oh, that's
So
right,
I
man. You
should
guys
really,
were, yeah.
I should really say my event of the year was being in a car crash with Neil,
Right.
which is a true story. That was back in July. Wasn't a fun
Yep.
experience, the car crash part, but obviously
Right.
watching Neil do his thing and standing on the hills where they shot the Highlander stuff.
Gotcha.
It's just like
I have
that's
one
that's
question
kind of
about
cool.
the car wreck.
Yeah.
When the collision happened, did his hair move in slow motion as it
No, I don't know because I was looking out the left-hand side.
Oh, gotcha, man. I got
So
you. And I'm number one. I'm glad that both you guys are fine.
so am I.
But
Yeah.
but he has this. It just
No,
looks like his hair would
1980s
move.
Bonnie Tyler
Yeah,
type rock video sort of thing going on. He does.
yeah, man. It
Yeah,
just looks like it would move in slow motion when things get hairy, right?
it does. Yep. But yeah, so I should really put the car crash down as an event, but Chris's thing was better and more enjoyable.
Right. Yeah, man.
So yes, Neil will probably know how they did that Highlander shot, but I'm going to rewatch it and try and work out how they may have done it. But it's a very clever shot.
I'm gonna watch it again just to try to figure it out too. I was eating lunch and it caught my eye because I've seen Highlander so many times, and but then it caught my eye and I was just like, wait a minute, they're gonna cut, right? No, they didn't. And maybe I looked down at my hot dog and fries, maybe for a split second, and that was where the cut was. But so going back to music, let's see here. So Extreme, I don't know if you've ever
Yep.
heard of that band or not. But
Yep.
anyway, their latest album, Six, is amazing. In the musicality, the guitar solos, the mix, anyway, sensational. Wolfgang Van Halen kicking ass with his second album. And I mean, like, I remember the first album took forever for him to finish because he was so nervous that people wouldn't like it and they would compare him to his dad. And the dude has his own musical voice, and his guitar work is immaculate. And the fact that he played pretty much every instrument on the first album, I don't know about the second album. Again, man, I mean, like, damn. I mean, Edward would be proud, no doubt.
Yep.
So anyway, and then of course, Clutch. I can't say Clutch enough. I'll send you some links.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
There's a funny music video, Ghoul Wrangler, and it's just tongue in cheek, and the song is hilarious too. I sang part of that at a friend's wedding just for shits and giggles. I don't know why. It was requested. So anyway, but it wasn't during the service. But anyway,
yeah. Does anybody know any good reason why these two shouldn't be? Up you go with the microphone. Right. Yeah, no, that would have been inappropriate, John.
But ironically, there was one wedding. This was back in probably late 80s, early 90s. I was hired to run one of the cameras, but I wasn't the dude who was the director of the production, right? Shooting this, wedding through 3, 4, 5 cameras. I don't even remember. But anyway, this dude who was a part of the not the orchestra, but the band, right, for the wedding. And it was getting closer. More people were coming into the sanctuary, and it was a weird sanctuary in that it was like the pulpit was in the middle, was in the center of the room, right? So I was over in one of the corners, and I noticed that this guy had a Charvel Model 4 guitar like mine, red, everything, right? And I said, dude, man, do you have the satin finish and the jumbo frets? And we started talking, specifics about guitar. And then, so he said, you want to play? And I was like, yeah, man. Well, I didn't know how to, I didn't know any church or wedding appropriate songs. So what do I start playing? Cat Scratch Fever. The dude who was my friend, who hired me to shoot the video, moved like the Flash. I'd never seen this dude move as quickly, but he was just like, stop. Anyway, it was fun, man. What can I say? Cat Scratch Fever. Surely that ties into this wedding somehow, right?
I'm sure it does. And if it doesn't, then it should.
And then, of course, Black Label Society, which is Zakk Wylde's band, formerly with Ozzy. And, man, his stuff is just so cool. And he just has a different mentality when it comes to guitars. And he doesn't need a tremolo system. He doesn't need a whammy bar, all that. He's just he just loves what he writes is pure Zakk Wylde. I don't know him, but it's just some fun music, but it's some ballsy headbanging stuff. So, and sometimes I need that to stay awake.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, man. So, favorite video games of the year? What you got?
The one I played the most was Hogwarts Legacy, which apparently I played 55 hours of that according to my PlayStation wrap up. So that was the biggest game that I played. I think my favorite is probably Creed Rise to Glory on VR too.
Yeah.
Which I've not played a lot of hours of it, but what I have played, I've really enjoyed. But it's exhausting because I'm so tired. I need a rest. But that's the one I've gone back to more and enjoyed it. So I do want to play more of that, I think.
Do they sell like a face mask and bodysuit so you can feel the punches?
Yeah, they sell a 6-pack which I can glue onto myself and make myself look less McDonald's filled. But it's just the whole VR2 which came out this year as well. The controls are really good. I mean, when you're cocking a gun, obviously not in Creed, but I'm playing another one called Arizona Sunshine 2, which is a zombie daytime Western shooter.
Oh yeah.
And it feels, you're doing this with the gun and you can pass it from one hand to the other, and the targeting is amazing. Normally what you'd have to do, and obviously I can't do it, but you would have to put to shoot somebody, you'd have to get really close to the character in the game and pop. This is like long distance stuff with a handgun, and I'm still able to take them out. So the targeting is really good on these new controllers. But it's just the VR2 lacks a wow system seller. It lacks that, I think, in a minute. But Creed and Arizona Sunshine 2 are probably two of the best ones I've played this year so far. What about yourself?
Yeah. Well, I remember you talking about Creed, and I played Beat Saber a lot. That's probably my top. And it's as far as like Xbox, Michelle and I will play board games like Monopoly. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
That's what my Xbox has become.
That's exactly what the Xbox was designed for, wasn't it? Playing Monopoly and Scrabble and stuff.
Exactly. There was one bird game that she had played with a group of friends at work, and mom and dad are always asking what she wants for Christmas. So last year we got that. It was such there's a book that goes along with it so you know how to play. And it was just very complicated. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to buy it on Xbox. So it's like playing with someone who knows what they're doing, and they can, so that was fun. And then, but overall, man, it's me playing with the Meta, the Oculus, whatever it's called, MetaQuest 2. I had to write that down because kind of like a car. When you get a car and you're like, oh yeah, man, that's 262 horses with a dual overhead cam. You know all this stuff until 2 years later, and then it's like, got muscle, man. It takes me where I want to go.
It's the blue one, I think. I'm not quite sure whether it's the blue car or not. I don't know. Might be the green one.
That is interesting that you would point that way towards my blue car, man.
Well, there you go. See?
I think that's a new YouTube show for you.
Yep.
You and your hermetically sealed envelopes, man.
That's what it is. Annette and I have just started playing Lego Dimensions as well. The one with the little figures where you put them on, and we've had it for years. So we've just started getting back into that. So she's playing it on the Xbox X. I'm playing it on the PS5.
Yeah.
So fun game.
Yeah, I saw there was something on the on the MetaQuest where you can build your Lego thing and then you can make it float in front of you. And I'm just like, I don't want to pay $30 for that. I think I would rather pay $30 and get plastic bricks, build it with Roxley, and then man, have it. But that just, I mean, if it had been free, I probably would have downloaded it. But nah, man, $30. So Beat Saber is way up high. Galaxy's Edge, which is Star Wars.
Played the demo. Yeah.
There's a theme here in sci-fi, with the exception of my music taste. But so yeah, Galaxy's Edge, Vader Immortal. If you've ever wanted Darth Vader to walk up in front of you and stare down, because I think he's supposed to be 7 feet tall, dude. I mean, like, yeah. And then what is her name from Saturday Night Live? Maya Rudolph, is that her name? She's the voice of your robot companion, and she's hilarious. And so that was a nice surprise. Again, when the MetaQuest says, hey, you can get this for $10, and I'm like, Darth Vader, all right, whatever, right? But then you play through the first game so quickly, you buy that second, and then you buy the third.
The third one,
but then if you stop midway through the third, you're going to forget every bit of force that you know how to do. You will forget what button does which, and you will die pretty quickly. And so I haven't restarted that.
That is a common thing that I do with video games. If I don't carry on, and then I don't play it for 3 months, I'm like, where's the jump button? What I can't remember how to do anything.
The Spider-Man game that Michelle gave me with the PlayStation, I think it was 2 years ago. And I started playing, and man, it was just like, yeah, dude, this is awesome. And then I forget what happened, but I didn't have time to play for like 6 months. And then but I was far enough along, I didn't want to just restart. And yeah, man, I was just like, I don't know how to do anything in this, And so it's a buzzkill, man, And then I see these young kids that are just like, oh, give it to me. All right, you win. That's good.
Slap them. That's what
right. Yep.
You're not playing again.
Angry Birds Isle of Pigs, again on the MetaQuest. But to be able to play, did you ever play the Angry Birds game?
Got them on my iPad. It's amazing. Yeah.
So all 2D, man. It's almost like the side scrollers of old. But to be able to do it in 3D and move around the target and see where the best place to launch the birds, very, very cool, man.
Nice.
Yeah, man. But that's the end of my video game list. It's it's almost, well, I guess it's a little better than where did I go event wise, because I did nothing. Well, there was the event. There was Xander.
Yes.
So yeah.
And what is your obviously Christmas is just around the corner, so you're all prepared for Christmas, I'm sure.
Yeah. Dude, for the first time, probably since Michelle and I got married almost 10 years ago, and I say almost, even though it's April of next year. But I mean, like, and ironically, when we started dating, it was in January of 2014, and then it was early March. I remember her helping my kids take down the Christmas tree and all the decorations because I just left it up.
In March? Oh,
yes.
John.
I know, really, man. And it was my vote, just leave it up, man. We're going to put it back again. It's kind of like
9 months.
Right. Well, that's what the leaf blower's for, man. You just blow that dust out. But this was the first year that Michelle and I finished up all the decorating, all the Christmas gift wrapping, everything last weekend. So we're sitting there looking at each other going, man, we can enjoy the holidays. We can enjoy Christmas. So anyway, man. But yeah, Christmas is right around the corner. One of the Santa Clauses is telling me it's 4 days away. Another Kris Kringle is telling me 4 days away. And then there's Drunk Santa that's saying it's still 16 days. So
Santa's drunk. Don't listen to that one.
That's right. He'll make you relax and then go, hey! Right?
Yeah, exactly. You missed it. You fell asleep through it. So
right.
what are
so
you?
What about you, man?
Yeah, we're all ready for Christmas. We're all done.
Yeah.
I always take the tree down New Year's Eve at the latest because I don't want to go into a new year going that thing I need to clear up from last year. So it's like new year, new chapters. What is the most exciting thing you're looking forward to doing next year? Have you got like a number one thing that you want to do?
You know, you and I have discussed New Year's resolutions and how pointless that is, right? Or at least to me. I mean,
To
like
you,
I'll
yes,
say,
to you. I try and stick
I'm
to mine, you know.
oh dude, nah man, I'm belligerent. I'm like, I'm gonna be in the gym every day. Nope. I'm gonna get in shape. Nope.
I'm going to bench press some chocolate bars. Yep, I'm doing that.
That's it. I do, you know, it's like I will pick up Roxley and Xander, although Xander's like, I don't know, 30 pounds. Maybe not that. I don't know. Maybe he's 20 pounds. I have no idea. But anyway, I mean, like Roxley's, she's 4. And so, you know, I can get some curls in, you know, and then if I'm like, yay, then get that shoulder workout. But yeah, it's nothing like I used to do. But I decided this year I was going to do a what is it? A vision board. But of course, I didn't cut things out and glue it on a poster. I did it digitally. So that will show up on my social media. I don't know, man, somewhere between Christmas and New Year. But there's a TV show that I shot the pilot of back, I don't know, 4 months ago, somewhere in there, and it's a talk show. But it was with friends, and so we're all co-producers, but they are on-screen talent. They interviewed the very talented Vanell, who I tried to talk onto the show today. One of these days, she'll come on for the interview too, but or hang out. Because we don't interview, man. We just visit, and then everybody gets to enjoy that, right?
I never, even the interview things I do, I never call them interviews. I always just call them conversations that, you know, they are.
But so there are different things that I do plan on accomplishing this year. Pretty much all entertainment based, one book, and everything else is like scripts or episodic television. So anyway, but yeah, so we'll see, man. But I mean, I'm more determined. I think I'm more focused on and driven to accomplish these things, and you know, so kind of, I don't know, man. I would hate to die. Not that we're gonna leave on a morbid note, but you know, I would hate to die, and then it's like my book's never published, my TV shows are never, you know, and so I think, you know, not that I'm gonna die, but that has certainly stoked the flames of me getting off my ass and accomplishing all this stuff, you know, because I can procrastinate. I'll be the first to admit it, and it's just like, you know what? I'll get to that in 6 months. I'll get to that. I'm gonna focus on this, and it's always something that's relevant and important. But man, you've got to. It's, you know, you've got to push these different. You've got to have a plan. I think that's what I'm driving at. Yeah. So, yeah. But what about you, man?
I have been spending most of this year cutting out a lot of the things that are winding up, a lot of the things that I don't want to do next year. So I'm not going to feel the need to watch as many films as possible. I need to. Oh, look, I'm only on 270. I need to be on. Who cares? Who gives a shit? I'm going to rewatch a lot of old favorite films. You know, it's like, do you know what? I haven't seen the Beastmaster in ages. I'm going to rewatch the Beastmaster. I'm going to put that up.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to do that.
What was the female version of Beastmaster? There was some lady who.
I know there was Xena, wasn't there? But I don't think it was that.
No, it was the blonde who was also a Bond girl.
Sheena.
There you go.
Yeah, with Tanya Roberts. Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
So, you know, just rewatch films, watch things that I want to watch. I don't feel the need to, and I don't need to do a podcast every week. So if I've not done one for 10 days, oh no, what are people going to do? They'll cope. I'm going to do a lot more nostalgia-based interviews. So there are a couple of people that I've reached out to because it's like, do you know what? They're cool. I want to talk to them. So I've reached out. So I'm waiting to hear back from those people. So I'm going to do more of those. Just do more fun stuff.
Good, man.
And then try and sort of work out how to do what I do, but make some money at it would be nice.
Right.
So that's obviously my primary thing. I do have a couple of ideas, but you know, they're not concrete yet. So
what is it? Coffee? Is it something that you're doing now.
Coffee, yeah. So that's just because I tried Patreon, and then I realized, well, I don't like storing up podcast episodes that only certain people could listen to. Because like if I do one, then everybody just of it. It's it's easy that way. But the Ko-Fi page is kind of like a, hey, this is what I do. Throw 10 cents in here if you wish, and it adds up to a little goal. So one of my goals next year is to do more work on my website. Because I've done a lot this year, but I want to try and expand that. So my goal on there is to raise X amount to then go up what do you call it? When you go up a plan on a website. So I'm paying X amount now,
gotcha.
and if I go up to this amount, then I get all these extra things. And one of those is like a way to make money on it. So I'm like, maybe I'll aim for that. So that's what the Ko-Fi thing is. But the Patreon thing is just like, I don't like going, oh, subscribe at Patreon and you get extra things. It's like, I'm just no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So it's like, if there's a Ko-Fi page, it's like, there it is. Of it or don't. You'll still get the same amount of content. So that's what that is.
Well, it's a way for people that enjoy your podcast to support you without you doing extra work, which would in turn eat into your time and take your money away. I mean, that's the thing that people don't understand is that, I mean, you and I both have 24 hours in the day, just like everybody else, and we've got to use them wisely. Or
So there's that. I get a crazy amount of press releases through, and a lot of them I'll post, and I'm like, why am I bothering posting that? Here's a press release for a streaming platform that we're not going to give you an access to, and nor are you going to get anything for it whatsoever. But we'd like you.
Right.
What extra benefit does my website get for that? So
Dude,
so I'm cutting the list down.
Amazon Prime getting up with me, like via email. It's not like they call me up, but anyway, and they're just, they're like, hey, we noticed that you use the 3D section of our app so you could see how something worked in your home. Would you please be willing to answer this 15-minute whatever? Hell no.
No.
Why? What am I going to get out of it? And then there's so many other people that are saying, hey, will you take this this quiz? And no. I mean, like, what does it benefit me, man? Yeah. I don't have time for it.
Time management is a big thing, and I'm not going to engage with as many trolls, even though it's tempting.
Right.
What's the point? There is no. Right. I'm not gonna convince anybody that Leave the World Behind is the best film they'll ever watch when they hate it. So I'm just not going to bother. It's like, forget it. So it's all about using the time that I've got in the best way possible. So that's probably my main New Year's resolution. And I should be fine. And obviously find some income. So, there is that. But
man. Well, I mean, I think you can accomplish just about anything, man. You've certainly been successful at podcasting and social media and all that stuff, man. And, it's tough sometimes not to look at the money aspect, because that was always my dad. It's like, oh, well, how much money have you made off this? Or I bet you if you sold 100,000 of those, you would stay busy every weekend. And no, that's not how I want to make extra money or whatever. And I get his thinking, though. That's a different generation, right? But no, I think you have certainly been very successful in what you've done, man.
I think it's about finding the balance between making a living, and supporting your own economy and doing the really cool geeky things. It's like I was tweeting earlier, Mick Garris just finished his podcast, which he'd been running for 7 years. 7 years Mick Garris had been doing it. And it's like, he's been on my podcast twice.
Yeah.
I know Mick Garris. He knows he knows my name. And I was chatting earlier online with Sarah Douglas from Superman 2. And you're like, those are the better payments. They don't pay the bill. So I need to still do that stuff, but also find another way to, pay bills and stuff like that. So it's about tightroping, I think, next year.
But when you interview somebody that is tied in so deeply to someone of our age, our past, then we get to time travel, man. And I mean, that's yes, I make all my geeky stuff, my blasters and stuff, because I enjoy it. But when people come over to visit and they can pick up a lightsaber and it takes them back to 77 or whatever, man, it takes their mind off of today. And I think that is the world would be a better place if everybody would just give and just try to help people lighten their load. And hey, man, forget about all that trash, man. Let's let's
Mhm.
watch a movie that we all enjoyed back. It's all my kids had certain movies they had to see. It's a rite of passage. Flash Gordon was one of them.
Mhm.
Nobody understood the Hawkman's booty shorts. I
No.
didn't say I didn't say that made the movie. I didn't say that I didn't have questions too. But I mean, it's just. But anyway, so now whenever we hear that bass line, the bass riff, because Flash saved every one of us, man. And then so we time travel, man, and it's such a nice little reminder that things used to be simpler, and we can, we can still relax. We can unclutter our minds and have that relaxing time. Anyway, I don't know if that made any sense or not.
No,
Yeah.
it did, and I think I'm going to make sure next year is a more nostalgia year for me. It's just like do more fun things and just generally feel good and not watch the news and say, oh, the world's burning. Oh no, just forget it. Put the never-ending story on. See what Barrett Oliver's up to and how he's saving his sandwich because you don't want to read the full book and all that sort of stuff. So just generally enjoy, I think.
Yeah, man. Yep. Life is too short, and we do need to enjoy it. So
we do. But I would also like to thank you for for these all this. I know I know you enjoy them, and I do enjoy them as well. But I genuinely appreciate the fact that we do like one of these a month, or sometimes it's whatever they are. It's like let's do one. They're always a highlight. So
it was. Yeah, man. I am grateful too, and it's funny. I mean, like this week has been very long. I mean, like Monday felt like it should have been Friday, and then Tuesday. Why the hell isn't this Friday? But I knew if I could make it until Thursday afternoon, I would laugh my ass off and enjoy a couple hours with you. And not that I haven't had a blast with Michelle and seeing friends and stuff.
Different. It's different.
Oh hell yeah, man! But I mean, it's always a highlight of a week when you and I can get together and chat and create this byproduct that's known as a video podcast, whatever they call that these days. So
and I'll be putting this out this weekend on video and audio and stuff like that. So it's I wanted to make sure it was done before Christmas.
Yeah.
So I get a break and you get a break, and then it's a nice little that's my year done. Have a breather and then hit 2024 come January 1st.
Yeah. Have you seen the meme where Kermit is very wide-eyed and he says that the last day of this year will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
And
but not in England it won't be. Because we do we do the month first.
Oh,
we do the date.
Man.
We do the date first, then the month, and so on. So it's
you are correct, man.
There you go. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We've So it's fine.
That's right. You'll cross that finish line before we will. So we get the cool number. You get to experience 2024 for 5 hours before I do.
I will let you know what it's like and let you know whether Skynet takes over or whatever it is. But
awesome. And in the meantime, I'm going to send you some clutch videos that I think.
Definitely. I'm always looking for new music. So that's, definitely.
Yeah. And I probably need to take my geriatric dog out because he's sniffing around the Christmas tree. And I don't want any extra ornaments in there.
No, none at all. But have a wonderful Christmas, John.
And you too.
And a happy new year and stuff. I'm sure we'll swap tweets or threads or blue skies or whatever it is nowadays. Right. Who knows? But voice to voice, have a Merry Christmas and regards to the family as well and the dogs.
Same to
right.
Same to you, man. Have an awesome holiday.
You too. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.